Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Just Shelve It. This is Shooting the Shelf, my new segment I'm doing where I'm bringing in a guest to talk about whatever it is we have to talk about. Um, and yeah, so if you are new, if you are new to the channel, last time I talked to my buddy Sean Scavarna, who I've known since I was about 8 years old. This week I'm bringing on a friend who I haven't known quite as long, but he is someone who has been a part of my life for a very long time now as well. So let's see, anything to say before we get going here? I'm going to give a couple people, or give it another minute before we get going, see if anybody joins in. Everybody is planning on having a nice and safe 4th of July weekend. Oh, we've got some people here. What's up, Jacob? What's up, Andrew? All right, we got a couple people watching, so I'm going to go ahead and bring my guest on. He is ready to go, live from somewhere in West Virginia. My good friend, Brendan Gallagher, and I don't know how to use this program yet. There we go. Brendan,
Hey,
welcome to the show.
thanks for having me, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. How are you? We got an old friend here.
What's up, Andrew? Yeah, so actually, dude, I was just listening to you do that intro, and I'm like, 25 years we've known each other.
25. Oh yeah.
25. It'll be 25
in August.
this August.
Yep.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. What do you got there?
Lemonade. I assume happy anniversary. I mean, I don't know. You're still talking to me 25 years later.
I mean, yeah. Jacob says, awesome background, Brendan.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that. This is just a little, I might try to do some panning at some point in time. That's just a little bit of my collection that's behind me. But yeah, man. So we go way back, and actually, I mean, I guess you want to talk about like that.
We can.
I think some context to our relationship kind of actually matters here. I'll tell my version of it.
Well, before we get into that, let's just
I wouldn't share a bathroom with you, Andrew. I would not share a bathroom with you.
Some of my audience tonight is probably coming from the Mythic Legions toy line, the Mythic Legions Cabal over on Facebook. Some of my friends from college and stuff are going to be on here. So yeah, Andrew was another friend we knew back in the day, and I should have prepared some other pictures with other people in it because I didn't think anybody from Evangel would show up here. So 25 years ago, Brendan and I met because we were in the same dorm, same floor, same dorm, freshman year, freshman weekend. And I know you love to tell this story, so I'll just let you.
So, okay, is this it? All right, so I'm sitting in the lobby, and this kid comes in, long hair, not much has changed, honestly. Beard was a little shorter. That's about it. I think you might even had
I didn't have the full beard. It was
Yeah,
just actually, I don't even think I had the chin yet.
Yeah, you had those 90s chops, man. You remember those? Like, you had those down there. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
And sits down right across from me. First thing out of his mouth is, now, mind you, we're at a conservative Christian college, and his first words out of his mouth to me are, "Hey, where's some chicks?"
And that was point one. I knew you were going to bring that up. So I've got my Brendan bingo card over here. I've got a couple of points that I'm expecting you to hit. And I knew that was going to be the first one.
Yeah. So I'm like, ooh, I mean, I already came with a girlfriend to college, who is my wife. And so I said, we can go down there. It's a girls' dorm. He's like, okay. So we walked down there, and we have been friends ever since. There was lots of ups and downs, and that during those college years. And here's the other story that I know you are expecting me to say, and this is, I had planned to be a very good student in college, and I had planned to go to every class.
Okay.
And so I'm walking towards. Mind you, I got to back up. I grew up in a small town in West Virginia. No comic book shops. Never been to one. First comic books I ever got.
I don't think you need to specify a small town in West Virginia.
And the comic books I got were from a kid who lived across the street from my stepbrother, who had a subscription to Marvel Comics, and for some reason they sent him 2 of every issue, so he gave me the duplicates. First comic book I ever had was Ghost Rider and Morbius. It was a crossover thing, and that was my foray into comic books. But I'd never been to a comic book store. I'm walking towards our class that you and I had the same class, and you're walking back towards the dorm, and I'm like, where are you going? We got class. And you're like, I'm going to the comic book store. I took about 10 feet. I went, that sounds so much better than class. And so I went to my first comic book store with Jesse. Oh, there it is. And at that comic book store, that first trip ever, which one was that? That was the one that was in that warehouse building that like you had to go up the stairs.
Yeah, that was their second location. It was Crown Comics.
Yeah.
Back then, yeah, they were over the storage facility / paintball arena.
Yes. Yep. Weirdest setup ever. But I picked up the first issue of Star Wars Outlander comic books at that shop, and I was hooked on Star Wars comics from then on out. And that was the comic book that came out right after Phantom Menace, and they were the chromium covered. And I got all of those. Got that whole series. I collected that entire series until it ended. And so Jesse is the reason that I am an avid comic book collector. And and also why I skipped a whole lot of class.
I mean, I guess I've always wanted to be influential on people, but maybe not quite in that way. But hey.
You're also the reason I eat wings.
I am?
Yeah. I had the only wings I had before I ever got to college was these crap things that my mom used to get that you threw on a cookie sheet and you put them in the oven and you just baked them. They weren't wings. They were
okay.
Whatever. You took me for my first wings ever in college, and I have been hooked ever since.
Please tell me we didn't go to Hooters.
That was one of our trips.
I know we took Eric there as kind of a joke.
Yeah. Gosh, dude.
That food is so bad.
Yeah. No, those were not the first wings that we had. I don't remember where we went.
Because I didn't even start eating wings until after probably that summer. That summer that.
No, you like all of a sudden were like all about wings. Like you found them in college and became all about them. And then, yeah, you also made me watch Napoleon Dynamite. Anyhow, just things that I stick out.
And that would have been after college, and I did watch it once, and I'm never getting that time back.
Yeah, so
I did not like that movie.
Whatever.
Sorry for I know a lot of people like that movie.
Yeah,
I am not one of them. So I got burned into class, took him to the comic shop.
Here's the other one you're waiting for. Our very first conversation as a group of people.
Now this was a couple minutes into our freshman year.
Yeah. But there was this group of people that somehow came together. And it was me, you, Spiegel, Harris. I think Jason was there. Well,
yeah, probably.
I know Lisa was there. Stephanie was there. And we were all just sitting in the lobby, just sitting there tight, hanging out and talking. And I looked at you and I said, is the color of blue that I see the same color as blue that you see? And you automatically went into the fetal position and began to question all of reality and life from then on out. And then the Matrix comes out like
2 years later.
2 years later, and we're like, oh my God, it's that question. and yeah.
So I'm not gonna ever say I was smart, but I had a level of intelligence until you. So thank you.
You are welcome.
Specifically that conversation. Since we're going down
One of the
That was
best
what?
pictures ever.
That was like what? Like 2 weeks into being friends.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I don't
Brendan
seen that one.
is an insanely talented musician. We'll get into that a little bit later.
I'm the one
See,
with
I'm
hair.
talking to
I'm the
you.
one with hair, in case you don't know.
I have hair. It's just up in my hat.
No, I know, but like in that picture, I have hair.
Yes.
Still have that guitar.
Yep. Brendan's infamous pink guitar.
Mm-hmm.
He's in a band called Last Year's Model, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, he was, and this is me teaching him how to play guitar. So like, he did not know anything freshman year. That is garbage. I'm a horrible musician. And there's Combat Chuck.
Oh my God.
And you looking like a crazy person.
I don't remember getting a picture with him.
I think we were leaving, and he just happened to be outside as we were walking out to the car.
Dude, you gotta send me that.
Okay. We'll come back to some pictures later.
You know, he passed away like 2 years ago.
No, I did not know that. That's a shame. Brendan saved my life. We were driving back from somewhere, movies or something, and here in central Pennsylvania, every railroad track, at least that I crossed as a kid when I was learning how to drive, had the bars come down, the lights, the whole 9 yards, right? I was not used to train tracks that did not have that. So we're coming back down, and it was a busy street. Like, it was one of the main streets in the city.
Oh, yeah.
And Brendan's like, "Are you going to stop for that train?" I'm like, "What train?" He's like, "That train." Like, there was no blinking lights. There were no rails. It was like a 4-lane thoroughfare through the city, and there's just trains just going across. And yeah, so enough about that.
Good times. We had some awesome times.
Probably shouldn't clap. I just thought of another story that I didn't put on my bingo. We're going to talk about action figures, specifically Star Wars action figures right now, because Star Wars is clearly something you're mildly interested in. And it's something, I've had a great love since, I could perceive things. So Star Wars.
Star Wars is my most vivid memory around 3 years old of any kind of any kind of visual media, movie, anything. I remember Star Wars before anything else. It was very just, I wasn't allowed to watch it, but we lived in Texas, and my neighbors had Laserdisc, and they had, so I was 3, so that was in 1982. They had, New Hope. They had New Hope. And I remember seeing Vader on screen and being like scared out of my mind. And but those visuals in that movie just stuck with me forever. And I have been a fan since I was 3 years old. And my favorite character, and one of the things that stuck out to me the most about Star Wars was actually the Crimson Guard, the Imperial Guard, Senate Guard. They had many iterations and names. But the bright red of them, I don't know why. They were my favorite character, and that was my very first Star Wars action figure, which I accidentally left at home, but I still have it. So,
Excellent.
Yeah.
How many of them do you have now in Black Series?
You didn't tell me there was going to be a test.
The guard, specifically the Crimson Guard. Four. Yeah. How many are out of the box?
Why are you like this?
I'm
one.
I know you're a largely in-box collector. You have one out. Okay.
Does that matter? Do you judge me less?
No. I was just curious how many you had on display, because I know you have, of duplicate ones you've taken some out.
Yes, I have one out of the box.
Okay.
Because he needs to be like.
Perfect. Perfect. I believed you. Yeah, Star Wars, man. Ever ever since I was a kid, it's just always been a part. Just the toy. I think I was more aware of the toys. I think
Yeah.
before I even saw the movies, we didn't have. I didn't have a VCR. You know, I think every now and then they come on TV, like a
It was
special or something. But
it was primarily the toys for me too. Like that was, I
yeah,
mean, I saw New Hope, but it was the toys that grabbed me. And I mean, and that was by design. I mean, that was, you know, the whole reason Transformers exist. That was, um, yeah, the toys grabbed me. I had, I remember I lost a few of these, but had the Crimson Guard had um, Ewoks. Loved Ewoks, and I still love Ewoks. And it's so funny to me how older people hate on Ewoks, and I'm like, they served their purpose. Their purpose was to get people like you and me in at that younger age.
well, yeah. I mean, and plus, look, I love that it's come full circle though, because now I don't play, I don't keep up with video games, but I love in some of those video games. What is it? Battlefront or whatever. If you get off on Endor at night, you're like immediately killed by Ewoks. It's like they were gonna eat our heroes. Like they weren't.
Yep.
They weren't taking them to give them a sauna. Like they were going to eat Han and Luke and Chewie.
Yep. I've always loved that meme that goes around. It's one where it says, has anybody ever asked why the Ewoks had a perfectly fitted dress for Leia ready to go? That means they ate somebody her size.
Well, or they made it out of someone her size.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, there might be some uncomfortable topics coming up tonight. Yeah, the toys, man. I remember seeing E.T. Obviously, E.T. came out before Return of the Jedi, because I remember seeing Return of the Jedi in the theater. Seeing E.T. came home, the first thing I did was went downstairs, grabbed my brother's Millennium Falcon, started flying that around, because that was the only spaceship we had. So it was the closest thing I could to approximate E.T. So yeah, Star Wars toys were. And my older brothers, I'm the youngest of five, so my oldest brother Gene had like an old fish tackle box or toolbox like up in the attic, and he had all of his figures like meticulously laid out, you know, with their weapons and like little cubbies and everything. He even made a bantha out of like pipe cleaners, and like he made a bantha back in the day that I, you know, I'd always sneak up in there and like fidget with his stuff.
That's really cool.
Gene, if you're watching this, if you didn't know that, I'm sorry. But yeah, do you remember? I think it was you when this is toy related. This isn't just memories from college. It's spring '99. Phantom Menace has not come out yet. It's getting ready to come out. I went to the bookstore to return and sell back my books for the year. And I remember I think I just came and got you. I remember like running out of that door, jumping over the railing off that like half-story ramp, and sprinting back to the dorm, grabbing my keys, and we drove to Toys R Us. Like you're the first person I really remember doing like toy hunts with.
Oh yeah, we used to do it all the time. Oh yeah, we'd go to Walmart, Toys R Us. Yeah, dude. One of my memories is walking through Walmart at one of the Walmarts in Springfield and seeing the GameCube on display for the first time, and they had Star Wars Rogue, Squadron, I think it was, called the game. And I sat there. I just wanted to sit there for hours and play this game on this demo at Walmart. Yeah.
Oh man, all the nights we had our own LAN set up in the dorm because the school didn't provide internet for us yet. Playing was it Pod Racer?
Pod Race. Oh gosh, I kind of forgot about that, but not. I mean, I remember more StarCraft and all that stuff. But yeah, we did a lot of Pod Racer too. Gosh, I've been playing that on Switch lately.
Nice.
It's a lot easier than I remember.
And could actually find toys on the shelves back then too.
Ain't that the truth? You know, I'd love to go back in time with about $500 because I could turn that 500 into 10,000 real fast.
Please don't tell me you're gonna buy 35 Jar Jars.
No. No, I'm not dumb.
What's wrong with Jar Jar?
No, I tell you what I'd go do. I would go to the Target that I moved to in Toledo, Ohio, and they had Queen Amidala's Naboo Starship on clearance for $40, and I would have bought $500 worth of those and just waited till now and sold them.
Are they going for much?
They go for a good bit, and they're still considered one of the top Star Wars toys of all time.
Cool. I don't know if I remember ever seeing one of those.
Oh, I've got it right there.
Of course you do. So, a couple years ago, I guess it was like 4 or 5 years ago now, maybe more. I came down to your place. First time I was down to your place down there.
4.
Like Labor Day weekend, and we'd gone out, run some errands or whatever, come back, and I'd gotten a Black Series figure too. I think you grabbed something, and we come back and we go into your front office. You're just like digging all these boxes out because you wanted to like count, make sure you had all the numbers or something. And you just like kept going. I'm like, how is there more room back there? It was like Mary Poppins' desk. You just
when I was pulling them out underneath.
Yeah.
That thing goes back really far, and you can just keep like yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, those aren't like that anymore. They're all very nice and organized and displayed now.
Yeah, I can see.
Well, these I don't have any of my red line here. All my red line are still at home.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So with all the new stuff coming out, what of the new stuff are you most excited about? It doesn't have to be Black Series, vintage, whatever.
Yeah, so there's a Boba Fett. It's called Boba Fett Throne Room, but it's the Jabba's Palace, 3.75 scale playset. That is incredible. I'm probably not going to get it. I want to get it, but it's $229, I think. So I'm going to hold off on that until I make it rich. But that's a set that I would really like to get my hands on. But for me personally, the Obi-Wan sets, the Obi-Wan figures, I'm real excited about those. I think they look amazing. The facial scans on Obi-Wan Reva. Who else did I see that I was like, wow, that's incredible? Tala. And then Ned B. Those characters, those figures all look amazing. I haven't seen. I'm hoping they do Owen and Baru. I'm sure they will.
That would be cool.
But yeah, those Obi-Wan figures, and I also love the Mission Fleet figures.
Oh yeah,
I do. I know a lot of people are like, why are they wasting money on this? And I'm like, because these are toys for kids, but this is what Star Wars is supposed to be about, and that's amazing. That they're great for kids to play with. I have the Galactic Heroes figures for my kids. That's what they play with. The ones that they're just like arms and legs, they don't move at all.
Are they the play school ones or whatever?
Yeah, like 1.5 inches tall. Yeah. They play with those. They love those. I would never buy them because of the pricing on Vintage Collection or any of these. I would never buy those for my kids because they're going to get destroyed and that's pointless. But yeah, so the Mission Fleet figures for Obi-Wan look amazing.
I don't know if I saw the ones specifically for Obi-Wan yet.
They've got Obi-Wan with the Opie. They've got Reva and a ship. And they've got a multi-pack that has Ned B, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, Reva, and there's a few others. They actually made a good bit for Mission Fleet. I'm not gonna be happy until Mission Fleet does an Ewok Village, though. It's the perfect line for it. Yeah,
no, you're right. If I ever see, I got the Ahsoka Mission Fleet. I got somewhere behind me is my Ahsoka shelf. Which brings me to my favorite. Is probably my favorite Black Series figure to date is the Mandalorian Ahsoka. I just love the pinless joints and everything. Like they really upped it on this one. How posable she is. Where did you go?
I'm here. I do not have that.
Really?
I'm sure. Yeah, no,
You've got to have this.
No, I don't. Nope.
Oh,
nope.
man.
I'm looking at my wall right now. I think I missed out on that one.
Okay. Well, that stinks.
Yeah, it's all right.
But yeah, it's really cool. You got the 3 3/4 one though, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. I love the white lightsabers.
Yeah.
I hope they do another version of her where they do what do you call it? Like the like one. It doesn't have to be all eras of the Clone Wars series versions of her, but like a Black Series version of Ahsoka from Clone Wars, where she's like shorter, where she's like the younger.
Yeah, because I've got all those. I've got all those in vintage or 3.75. I've got all those different. Yeah. I hope they do that at some point in time. Yeah. So we've well, anyhow, no, I don't know what to say. But yeah, no, those are the things I'm probably the most excited for. I've got a lot of stuff that, I've got the newer version, the vintage collection of the Slave one. I've got the Millennium Falcon that they put out. Slave one. It's
what now?
it's I think it's called a fire spray.
Yeah.
And then I've got the new Millennium Falcon that is absolutely amazing. If you've not seen one of these in person, they are one of the greatest toys of all time.
The vintage collection one.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. Want me to show it?
Sure. All right, for the 4 of you watching this broadcast live, how many of you want to see Brendan open a figure on air? I'm just kidding.
So I can't even get the whole thing on here, but just to give you some idea of the scale.
Wow.
And then I can't even see here right now.
Got it! I got it!
Oh, that's awesome. Now, clearly that's original trilogy edition.
So you switch it.
Now let's go get that coaxium.
It's Hondo.
Oh, okay.
So this is actually from.
Yeah, okay, Galaxy's Edge stuff.
It's the Galaxy's Edge one.
That's right.
Which was the exact same as the one they put out a few years ago. They just added some electronics that had quotes from Hondo and Chewie. All of Chewie's quotes are really hard to understand.
That's cool.
But just like, this thing's not easy to manage. Hold on.
That's so cool. So, Brendan, the guy, Dan, commenting here, that's awesome. He's one of my new friends from the Cabal. He's doing a lot of cool painting, customizing over on the Mythic Legion stuff. So,
oh, nice. Loving that stuff. I don't own any of it. I plan to, though, especially since my friend Jesse's painting all of that stuff. I definitely want one.
Well, we'll get right, since we're right there. Let's. I know some of you watching are probably waiting for some Mythic Legions talk, but so I figured you'd appreciate this one. This is just the basic Black Knight. I think I swapped out the plume is a different color than the one I think he came with a bright red one like his belt, but figured you'd like this.
No, that's sick. Yeah. The detail on those are.
Oh yeah, and
phenomenal.
This gets said a lot in the groups, like, and I feel bad because one of the cool guys in the Cabal is like the photographer for the studio, and he takes amazing photos. Everybody takes amazing photos of these toys, but and even ones I've seen in person on a table at the show when I was there in November, I passed on, and then when I eventually got one in hand, my opinion about that particular figure totally changed. Like, it's just pictures and videos never do them justice until you see them actually in person. But yeah, like I don't know how much you know about them, but like they're modular, I guess. So like the arm comes out at the joint. The shoulder pauldrons come off. You can take the elbow, or like the wrist guards off, the wrist, at the hands, the hips. Everything can come apart. So if I had like a Silver Knight, I could mix and match parts to make like a Black and Silver Knight like combination here.
Very cool.
And I'll show. I got a couple other ones here just to show off to you. This is one of the orc builders.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, those are phenomenal.
So this is the exact same torso as the other one, but it's painted a different way. Just with like a more. I mean, they're both basic. Like these are like their. Yeah, and then it comes with this wicked shield.
Yeah.
Which yes, it looks like it's upside down because he's holding it in a downward position.
Right.
So one of the other groups or podcasts I follow was commenting about someone who was commenting about some other line they had the shield upside down. I'm like, well, he's just holding it down. He hasn't lifted it up yet.
And the front there also looks like it would be a weapon, like if you needed to.
Yeah, there's all sorts of pointy bits on these guys. And the last one is one I did customization to. This is a fully painted head that I did.
I will never understand. I don't know if it's my ADD, ADHD that would never allow me to be able to focus on those details. I don't know how you have the patience for that. It looks incredible.
Thank you. So again, it's the exact same torso as the other ones. I've just highlighted the copper bronze there. I don't think I did the shield. I did some distressing to the shield, but that shield's pretty much the way it was. And then like I did all the bronze on the body I added. But yeah, the helmet. So this came in you've seen 3D printed stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Like that. Oh yeah, because you've gotten some stuff from Tyler, right?
Yeah, I have a shelving unit he made me for my clones right over here. That's amazing. Yeah,
I have one of those too. Those are great.
I mean, the drawers and everything. It's like you would not. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah. I haven't painted mine yet. It's just white, which is kind of nice because it's in a black shelf unit, and it's white on the black.
Oh, nice.
I have all the Bad Batch crew in front of it, and then I've got this like cardboard diorama set from a place called Extreme Sets, like pop-up cardboard dioramas, and it's got like a display table with like a hologram projecting up. Doesn't light up, but it's like a clear piece of plastic.
Yeah.
So it looks like there's a world map like projecting up. So
nice. That's a good setup. Yeah, it's in there with mine's black. He painted mine for me. But it looks sick. He's got silver highlights on it and all. So I'm not getting it out of there though, because
this is what the parts look like when they come to me unpainted. Just sometimes they might be a darker material, sometimes black. I got one the other day. It was like a flex resin, so it's kind of clear, but it's just kind of this basic black gray is largely what I get. Just depends on what kind of filament or material resin they have.
I find that extremely impressive. Anybody who can do that, like any of you guys who are watching, if you can do that stuff, I mean, the patience it takes, the skill it takes, the patience of hand that it takes. I tried painting a model kit forever ago, and eventually I just threw it away.
Well, I started painting with D&D minis, so like that's even smaller. So like if you want to get anything details, and I didn't have the small brushes I have now to do these because I care more about the detail on these. But I now have a lamp with like the magnifying glass, so I'm sitting here with like this thing, and I like keep bumping it with my paintbrush. It's fun, but it's its own unique set of things. And the people who do the printing and the sculpting, like I downloaded a free 3D sculpting app a couple months ago just to try to mess around with it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't spend very long on it, and I was like, well, all right, this is going to be for the next quarantine. When I run out of stuff to paint, like I've got too much stuff to paint and work on. But the people who sculpt impress me, and the people, well, everybody in this community, all these community, like, because I've seen, like, Tyler does all the Star Wars customs. For any of you who are into Star Wars customs, check out my friend Tyler over on Instagram at Failed Imagineers. He does awesome stuff. Largely, his focus is on like the Mandalorian armor type. He like does all sorts of colors and combinations and stuff. He's got a guy right now who's making a cosplay off of one of the customs he made.
Yeah.
So he sold this guy a custom, and that guy's making like a full
That's
set of life-size armor based on his.
That's awesome. Failed
So,
underscore.
I think that's really cool.
Failed underscore Imagineers.
Yeah, let's do that. So
just to make sure that everybody. Tyler does incredible work.
Is that right?
Yes, that's it. Yeah, his droidica.
Yeah, check out Tyler. Failed Imagineers.
His droidica is incredible. He did a Black Series scale version of the fairy droid from Mandalorian.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
And he actually printed. So he didn't sculpt, but he printed the Slice Noodles and the Mac Rebo band. And I believe it was an article on slashfilm.com posted about it. They failed to mention him. They mentioned the person who painted it, because that's, I guess, who it was through. But you know, especially now that I've gotten into the Mythic Legions and seen all the stuff that goes into, and watching Tyler do all this, it's not like he just downloads a file and hits print on the 3D printer and it just does it. I mean, that's like people who think that CG animation is like, oh, they just put it in the computer. And like, there are people who will spend 3 years working on 15 seconds of a movie. Like, they work on that 15 seconds of the movie for how long? And like, not that the digital printing or 3D printing takes that amount of effort, but it takes a lot of effort and skill. It's like its own unique skill set and artistry, even to know how to slice it if you have a smaller table, and just all the different things. Yeah.
Way above my pay grade.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched one of the guys from the Cabal, Jeremy Gerard, who actually works for the Four Horsemen, who makes the Mythic Legions. He did an interview a couple weeks ago with this guy Anthony out in Colorado who does it, and it was just really interesting seeing him talk about how, you know, how do you know how to build it? I didn't understand half of it. I picked up some things that I learned from Tyler, but it's really cool. So if you're into that 3D printing stuff, definitely go back and check out Jeremy's interview with Anthony. It's definitely worth checking out.
Very cool.
All right. So we talked toys, talked a little history. Let's get into Obi-Wan.
Yep.
Because we've bounced a couple messages back, but we haven't gotten had a full conversation between ourselves yet about this. So spoiler warning, anyone watching this, whether it's live or down the road, we're going to be talking about all sorts of stuff from Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Disney Plus show. So feel free to tune out until you watch it, or watch it and get spoiled. You know, it doesn't matter to me.
We're going to spoil it. All right. So, I guess we start at the beginning.
You don't have to.
First and foremost, I loved this show. If you are a fan of the prequels and you are a fan of the original trilogy, I do not see how you cannot like the show. And I get there are people, I'm seeing it, I see the comments online. I still think those people are a very vocal minority. And obviously there are parts people can pick apart that they didn't like this or that. I think one of the issues, and tell me what you think here, I think one of the issues with Obi-Wan is, and maybe some of the other series, is that releasing them episode per week gives people too much time to get nitpicky. over each episode versus watching it as a whole and digesting it all together. Because I think people really want that they wanted that last episode first.
Right.
And that's not you gotta get to the payoff. But I think in some ways Disney does a disservice to themselves by releasing them the way they do, because it gives people too much time to complain that they're not getting that payoff. Oh, we wanted to see, how many times did I see the comment? We wanted to see Obi-Wan at top form. Well, Obi-Wan's also suffering PTSD, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, literally just
been...
had his entire life destroyed in front of him, the entire order, all of his friends, basically his family killed. Don't know how you know, if people realize it's not, most people don't respond in the best of like, oh, I'm just still out here killing people and being awesome. It's the fandom drives me a little crazy with that sometimes. Wanting to see Boba Fett at peak Boba Fett, or wanting to see just all these things. They want answers and they want them now. Patience. You know, that's one of the things I think a lot of people feel. So with that said, I loved this show. I loved the characters that they introduced for this show. I'm a huge fan of the Inquisitors, so that was awesome to see them throughout it. What are your thoughts?
I loved it. Now, I mean, I'll make a note here. Like, I mean, I love Star Wars. Yeah. I love all of it.
Yeah, I don't know of any bad Star Wars. Sorry, I know that might drive some people crazy.
There are things I don't like in everything Star Wars I have consumed, be it books, games, movies, whatever. Like, there are elements of everything Star Wars I've watched that I'm like, why did they do that? Like, as much, I mean, I think at the time I saw Phantom Menace, I think 8 or 9 times in the theater that summer. Partially because we had the Palace where it was like $2, so I don't know how, I only saw like 5 times there, but like, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. I still think it could have been better, but it was still Star Wars. It still gave me some of my favorite characters from the entire franchise. Qui-Gon Jinn, and Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan, of course. You know, so but you're going to get what you want to get out of it. If you only want Obi-Wan and Darth Vader at their peak form going at each other, you're going to be disappointed, because like that doesn't make sense. Like, if you want to go watch a Western and you just want to see the shootout at the end, you're not going to see anything that makes any of those moments pay off. Like, a lot of Westerns are like slow, but it's a slow 1.5, 2 hour build to this crazy gunfight, you know, at the end, or whatever confrontation at the end of the movie. That's the way most Westerns go.
Why am I drawing a blank on the name of the one with Val Kilmer? Tombstone.
Yeah.
That's that. You know, you've got some tense moments there, but it all leads up to that final, like.
Yeah, there's moments, but like, it's not the big thing. Like.
And that's exactly what we got in Obi-Wan. You had moments. You had that initial moment of Obi-Wan and Darth Vader, which was amazing. And you saw the true fear. Oh man, Ewan McGregor in this show, the fear, the way he was able to his face and show that fear was incredible. Like,
totally agree.
He every bit of emotion he displayed throughout this show, whether it was smiling at the end, or crying when talking to Anakin Vader, or that fear of realizing Anakin was still alive. Like, knowing if Anakin's still alive, oh my gosh, how powerful has he become to survive what I left him in?
Right.
Just all of that was like, Ewan McGregor, just, I always loved him in the original or the prequel trilogy, but like even more so now.
Yeah, because I think he got to. I think George Lucas is an incredible visionary and a great storyteller and idea guy. I don't think he's the best director.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to the Star Wars movies, my favorite movies are not the ones he's directed. Plus, it's been 20 years. So Ewan's had a lot of time to stew on the character. I mean, he
Yep.
was the producer on the show. So like he was really involved. And I believe this was originally supposed to be a movie. And I just read something from one of the writers or other producers. It was originally going to be its own Obi-Wan trilogy.
Yeah.
But when it got scrapped after Solo bombed and after the whole reaction to Last Jedi bombed theatrically, and it just changed up their mode for everything.
Yeah.
So if this had been a movie, I think it would have worked a lot better. I still really love what we got. Like I am not complaining. We got what we got. But I think if this had been the first act of a trilogy, that would have been really something. Because, like you said, stretching it out week to week, I like that because it builds up the anticipation. I was confused by Stranger Things doing that, where they did like 7 episodes and then 2 more, like a couple weeks later. That was weird, but I like that because it gave me something to look forward to.
Right.
Um,
I think that works for people like us. I don't think that works with the average attention span that people have nowadays. It gives them too much time. They want, like I said, they want the payoff now. People do not have. We suffer as a culture from not being deferred. What's the word I'm looking for? Deferred enjoyment. They want it now.
Yeah.
And they can't enjoy the ride to get there. And so, I don't know if it's the best strategy, but it works for Disney. Obi-Wan was the highest rated show for Disney on Disney Plus. Delayed gratification. But I think that show, from that scene, if the payoff wasn't good enough for you, then you just decided to hate Star Wars. And I'm sorry, I don't see how you could have watched that scene and not be moved by it. Where Anakin, how many times have I said to you in the last 25 years that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the biggest liar in all of Star Wars?
I don't know. A lot.
Well, they freaking took that from me.
Yeah, they did.
They took that from me because that scene, and I was sad for 2 reasons. 1, they took that from me, and 2,
that's the main reason.
Yeah, but 2, it was like, whoa. So Obi-Wan wasn't lying. He was just repeating what Anakin said to him.
Mm-hmm.
Vader said to him. The way that Christian Hayden delivered those lines and the way they went back and forth between Anakin's voice to James Earl Jones' Vader voice, and then even blended them together at points.
Well, and his eyes changing and the lighting from the 2 different sabers. Yeah, like I was listening to there's a podcast I listened to called My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me, and they were talking about this scene. You would probably get a kick out of that show. We'll talk about that later. But they were talking about that and how in Anakin, someone was saying on there how they felt like that was Anakin kind of, they're like, no, you didn't do this to me. Even though he says that earlier in the show, he's flipped now. And he's like, I made Vader. He's like, I killed Anakin. He was taking it back from Obi-Wan. And then that whole switch when he's getting buried in the rocks before that. I think that's before that, right? When Anakin or Obi-Wan's getting buried. And he's having all those flashbacks to their, the prequel era stuff.
Yeah.
And then it shifts over to the kids from the series. And it was all about, I just loved how that was just him letting go of the past and moving on to moving on,
And it was like he was buried. It was buried. It was dead. It was like a grave.
Yeah.
And so the past truly was dead. Beautiful imagery all the way around that whole fight scene. The callbacks to previous fights that they had or previous discussions. And then later there was some callback. They're still callbacks, but to the original trilogy.
Oh yeah.
all throughout those scenes. It was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, that was a ride. That was a ride and a half. And I loved every minute of it.
Yeah. I liked seeing the flashback to them when they were training, like the sparring session. And I know some people were complaining like, oh, they look too old. I'm like, I'm glad they didn't try to de-age them, because that would have just,
People were
like,
complaining about that.
yeah. I mean, yes, they did not look age like the same, but I thought the energy and the acting, I think the acting was better, but like they were in that era of those characters. I thought they did a great job. Because if you look at Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen in the one X-Men movie, where was it, Last Stand, where they de-aged them and they just look like someone like wrapped them in saran wrap and put a wig on them because they were so,
Yeah.
like, no, I'm glad you didn't do. I mean, I know we've had time and it would have been better, but like, I like that they didn't mess with that.
I think they've gotten really good, like with what they do with Luke in Boba Fett. How they've learned. I watched a whole behind the scenes on that, and they've learned what mouth movements CGI de-aging does not like, and so they specifically write the dialogue to avoid those words, so that the mouth, they don't have to even deal with it. And that's why it looks so more natural in Boba Fett versus when they introduced him in Mandalorian, is because they were able to realize, okay, these words don't work. This word does. These words do work. So,
yeah. Did you see? I think we might have talked about this when it happened, but did they hire one of the deepfake guys to educate them?
It was a guy who was like, and he took it and he made it so much better than what they did. And they're like,
yeah,
we're gonna hire him. And I love that Disney did that. I love they were smart enough to be like, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I like learning from your mistakes and going forward instead of, nope, not going to go down that rabbit hole. I was going to open a whole other can, and I'm not doing that. Like, yeah, I really like that. There's a channel I watch on YouTube called Corridor Crew. They do like VFX artists react, stuntmen react, and other stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But they're visual effects artists for the most part, but they'll bring in an actual stuntman that they know, and they'll go through stunt scenes. They did like this guy Guy De Silva. He's basically the Black Panther action stuntman, and he's been in a lot of the Marvel movies. He's in Captain America. I think he's in Civil War and Winter Soldier. He's one of the guys in the elevator.
Oh, okay,
when he does that. They've had him on a bunch of times where they'll break down like, here's how this works, or here how it did this, and they do visual effects. And they actually had, those guys did a deep fake of the Luke scene after that first one came out. But yeah, it's really cool. All this, it's really interesting because they talk about like just the elasticity of the skin and just the way the lips move, and how that's, they did really good de-aging Robert Downey Jr. and
yeah, they did. He looks amazing in Stranger Things.
Yeah. Took me a moment, but I realized. But like Michael Douglas and Catwoman, Michelle Pfeiffer in the Ant-Man movies, how they de-aged them down. I think those they looked like they walked out of movies from the 90s, in my opinion. And then just a couple of years before, well, I guess it was about a decade before, they did Tron, and Jeff Bridges' face just doesn't move like young Jeff Bridges' face. So and they didn't correct it. But Star Wars, how cool would it be to see Jeff Bridges in Star Wars?
I can think of some, like, there would be, he would be great as that, like, Jedi who has been training Jedi behind the scenes after Order 66. They've been hiding, but he's also really like angry, and so he's not doing a great job of teaching them to balance of the Force or any of that nature. And so he'd be really good in that.
Yeah, I see him being like the reckless Qui-Gon Jinn that kind of is like, F it.
Yeah. yeah, he's trying, but now he's like, yeah, I could watch that. Something we didn't talk about with Obi-Wan that I do want to talk about.
Or he's just like a grumpy old farmer that gets caught. Oh, what?
No, go ahead.
I think we're out of sync.
Are we?
Either he's the old Jedi training, or he's like just like a grumpy old farmer or like cargo hauler that just gets roped, kind of like Rooster Cogburn, when he did True Grit, just like this grumpy old guy who just doesn't want to have to do with anything. Someone ruined his carpet.
Yeah, I'm. That actually, you just reminded me. That makes me feel. I'm very curious. What? How do you say his name? Taiki Waititi. I don't know.
Taika Waititi.
That would be it. Taiki Waititi. Listen. I've seen it in print. I know how to read it. I don't know how to say it. I'm so excited about his eventual Star Wars movie. I think it's going to be unlike anything we've seen in Star Wars. But I want to pause there and go back to Obi-Wan for a second. Character we haven't talked about that I think deserves all the respect in the world is the little girl who played Leia. I think she was incredible. And I think one of the criticisms I saw was why would a girl that young be that sassy and that why would you talk like that? I would love to introduce all of them to my 5-year-old. When you have a child who is intelligent and raised by parents who don't talk to them with baby talk, and expect them to carry themselves a certain way, you end up with that type of character. But also, it matches really well with who Leia is 9 years later.
Yeah.
In New Hope. So, yeah, she's being trained for that. She's being groomed to be that.
Yeah. So let's get into the nitpicking a little bit stuff, because I've seen and heard different people complaining about a couple things, all of which I feel are like very easily refutable. There are a few things that I think are not continuity errors, but maybe just timeline or budget constraint, just production slips. Like the assault on the hangar, way more of those rebels and refugees should have died. I'm me, I am not like a yes, let the innocent suffer kind of guy. Like I don't enjoy seeing that in movies, but like that moment, I mean, Vader and like 50 stormtroopers are there. That should have been a lot more threatening and brutal of a sequence. Now, granted, I know it's a Disney Plus show.
But they also let a stormtrooper get cut in half. They also let Tala commit suicide to be able to save them. So,
right.
There, everyone says that, it's a Disney Plus show. I mean, they're also going to be doing a new Daredevil show at some point in time. And they have this new upper locked rating thing.
Yeah.
So they're not scared to go there that much. I just think it was a bad decision from a directing standpoint. I don't think it was a Disney, we can't kill that many people decision. I think it was just
I didn't need to see it. I didn't need to see it. Like, I didn't need to see like all the dead people or anything. But there was the horrible camera shot that revealed that they could have just walked around the electric fence.
Yeah.
Like that, I was just kind of like, why? Like,
but here's my defense to that. The electric fence wasn't to stop people from walking around through it. It was to stop vehicles from going down the road.
Sure, but they weren't in a vehicle at that point.
Oh, I know, but like they still had to yeah, I know, but I'm just saying like the point of that fence was to.
No, like I get the point of the fence, but the choice to have him then blast the thing and then go like again, I'm nitpicking.
These are
my nitpicking.
Maybe that was just his middle finger to the Empire. Boom, your gate's gone. What?
Maybe
no more gate. Now people can move freely on this planet, at least on this road. Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Sure, he was thinking of all the people who have difficulty moving around on 2 or or 6 legs. Then it couldn't have gone around.
See,
or up the hill.
Not an issue.
Sure.
Sounds like I'm in a war zone. I don't know if you can hear that. People are setting off fireworks.
I heard that. I just thought you kicked something. I'm sure before we finish recording, the fire truck will pull out or the siren will go off.
Dude, that is the loud. You live beside the loudest fire department on the planet.
I doubt that, but it's just directly across. Other nitpicky things. It didn't bother me, but some people were upset that showing Vader catch the ship, that he should have known it was the other one, and that the other one took off way faster than we've ever seen another ship take off. And why didn't he do that to the Millennium Falcon? And I've heard arguments where, like, well, he didn't do it to the Millennium Falcon because Luke wasn't on the ship. He wasn't after them. Like, none of us are Darth Vader. We don't know why he makes the decisions he makes. He can't catch every ship all the time. I did like someone was explaining that they thought in Empire, Vader, because he had no one left to fight, he wasn't as actively pursuing stuff. He wasn't, not necessarily wasn't as strong in the Force, but he wasn't using it as much other than to choke subordinates.
He was more of a general in an army at that point in time.
Right. So, like,
yeah, and also when the Millennium Falcon takes off in Empire, he had just walked in. It was already up and moving and headed out. So he had just walked in. He wasn't really prepared for that. He walks in there, and that ship starts to take off real slow, and then he's like pulling it down.
I mean, I know everybody loves that scene in what's the one game where you have to, is it Starkiller pulls down the destroyer or whatever?
Yeah,
which is really cool.
Game's called Force Unleashed.
That's right.
But yeah, I get why people would nitpick over how fast the other ship took off. I did find out a little like, oh, okay, that ship just like went out of there like it's nothing.
It just yeeted itself.
But I mean, yeah, he would have still sensed. People complain that he should have known. He would have still sensed life forms in the room. Not necessarily specifically on which ship. I mean,
like whenever I've read any of the books or seen any of the movies where someone's like reaching out and trying to like connect, because don't they do that in? Didn't they do that in Book of Boba Fett with Luke and Grogu, where he's like telling you to like reach out and sense all the little life?
Yeah.
Or am I imagining that?
I mean, he said it's around you, so sense it around you. Yeah, they feel the
like he's in a meditative state. He's focused. It's calm.
Vader
it's
wasn't
peaceful.
in that moment.
I feel like Vader's almost never peaceful internally.
Yeah.
He
was moving with rage, man. He was after Obi-Wan, and he just wanted to rip him out of that ship and go after him. That was all that was.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. Like I said, you could really nitpick some stuff, but like, and then some people don't like the scenes with Leia running away. And I'm like, I don't have kids myself. I'm pretty sure you can answer this. Is it hard to catch a child who does not want to get caught and there's obstacles around? Okay. I do think
to a point where my wife and I will like split up to try and like.
It's like chasing chickens.
Yeah, no, dude, they can move. My 5-year-old will outrun. Like if she wants to get away from you, she will go under whatever. She's near impossible to catch. My 10-year-old, he's getting fast now, and he can do that stuff. It's not as easy to, and so the 10-year-old being the same age as her, I'll tell you right now, I'm 43 years old. I used to be fast. Flea is a little older than me. I would say 10 years at least. There's no way Flea's catching a 10-year-old girl who doesn't want to be caught. Well,
and I will say this, I do think that scene and when she's on the city with Obi-Wan, that the cinematography, the shots, the production of it, I think made it look great. She was small. That was a small child for a 9-year-old or 10-year-old or whatever.
But Carrie is only like 5'1".
I mean, yeah, Carrie Fisher was short too. So like, I mean, that's totally, it fits the character, but like small people are going to, on tight shots, they're going to run through the camera really fast. So
that was, I will tell you the only scene where I actually give people like, yeah, I do have a question there. And it's this one. The rooftop with Reva. She's bounding over the roof. She's going towards them. The Leia falls. Obi-Wan grabs her and lays her down. And he's down there like as soon like, I know he can force jump down off the, and he can land fine. But where did Reva go? Why did it take her so long to get to them when she already knew where they were?
I guess they didn't establish how far away she was from them, I
Right.
guess. So
Yeah.
I was like, I guess she wasn't as close as I thought she was.
People were complaining about Obi-Wan getting down there so fast. That doesn't bother me because, hello, force jump. That's not an issue. But the Reva just kind of disappearing and then showing up minutes later. Because, Obi-Wan already had a conversation with... sorry, guy. I didn't remember your name. I know Obi-Wan does. But the one guy who,
the charlatan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can't remember his name. Is it Taja or something like that?
Something like that. Taji, whatever.
Taji, yeah.
But like he has a whole conversation with that guy. Then that guy walks away. Then Reva shows up and like,
yeah.
That was my only nitpick in the whole thing. I get the other things that people have issues with, but I think those are all easily explained. And that's why I say, oh Lord, please just like stop doing these in 45-minute segments because it gives people too much time.
My only actual nitpick of the whole show that actually bothered me was we go through this whole scenario. Now, granted, I guess we've established Luke is safe with Ben and Owen, or Owen and Beru. But like Obi-Wan just like jumps on a shuttle, goes across the galaxy to visit Alderaan for like a 3-minute chat with Leia. Now I love that interaction, but he just flies all the way out there to tell her that, and then just takes off again. Like
sometimes you just want to say hi.
Like I feel like because Bale had said he was coming to Alderaan, like I feel like it would have been better to like have. I mean, obviously, like he comes to see him there, and they say like I don't know.
Maybe it was in passing. Maybe he was headed somewhere else. Dude, you can tell me you're not driving down I-79 and you're near me and you're going to be like, hey, man, I'm going to swing over and say hi real quick. I'm just stopping by. I don't have a ton of time to hang out, but I'm just stopping by to say hi. You want to grab a coffee?
It feels like you don't know me very well because I would never ask if you want to go for coffee.
I know. And I stopped drinking coffee in December.
It'd be more like, hey, let's go get some Taco Bell. And getting to you isn't on the way to anywhere else I would be going.
Maybe you're going to Florida.
Anyway, it just seemed odd to like go all the way out there, enter the atmosphere on a shuttle. Not even he didn't even fly it.
Hold on. Let's backtrack to you just a second. Let's just Leia is captured, leaving which planet was it destroyed in Rogue One? Whatever.
Scarif.
Scarif. They destroy Scarif. Leia is captured, having just left Scarif. They then somehow are near Alderaan. They blow up Alderaan. C-3PO and R2 are expelled from a craft and land on Tatooine. Tatooine and Alderaan are not that far apart.
Okay.
So him to swing over to Alderaan could be like me just shooting over to see you.
Would you come here for a literal 3-minute conversation and just take off?
Yes, just to mess with you.
Don't believe you would. I believe you would do it, drive away, and then come right back.
Yeah, that's probably more like it.
No, again, it's a minor complaint, but that's the only thing that bothered me because, granted, I loved it. I was like, how are they going to take him off world? What's going to be the motivation? And the fact that it was Leia, I thought was really cool that they were able to use her to be the catalyst to get him off the world. Loved all the interaction with him and her and the stuff about talking about her parents. And it does, the only real continuity thing it brings up for me because like the way she delivers the message through R2, I have no problem with that. She is a diplomat. She has been trained to do this. That was her official senatorial or whatever official cry for help to General Kenobi. Because when she reacts to Luke saying, I'm here with, Obi-Wan Kenobi, she's like, Ben Kenobi, like, she's excited. Now, granted, she does not react to him dying.
Yeah.
She also barely reacts to Alderaan because, again, my opinion, she's a diplomat. Luke is suffering. She immediately goes into taking care of him and getting them safely back to the rebel base.
Yeah.
Like, she is in that mode. I don't think Leia is the type of person who gets emotional in front of people, especially people she does not know.
Yep. Yeah, I had no issue with any of that. And it makes so much more sense that she would have named her kid Ben.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Go ahead.
I am, listen, for anybody who's watching, I'm not the guy that you're ever going to get to really slam on Star Wars. I'm just not. I like Jesse and I said, there are parts of it that, yeah, sure, I could get nitpicky. And there are parts that I go, I wouldn't have done that. But guess what? The reason, I believe very strongly, the number one reason that people end up not liking something in any media nowadays is because they go into it with their expectations as to what is going to happen. And when that does not happen, they're mad that their expectations weren't met. And so they don't actually take the time to actually process the media they actually just watched. They're just mad that it wasn't what they wanted it to be.
Yeah. And
yeah,
this is something, I'm not going to get into a whole religious thing, but like as a Christian, both of us, like, we don't think the way that every other Christian thinks. And I know watching TV and movies that those characters in movies and shows aren't going to be thinking or being written the way I think about stuff.
Yeah.
So like, we're not Darth Vader. We're not Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're not these characters. We can relate to them. We have similar things we can find in all of them, but like, there are elements written into a lot of characters to be relatable, so you can relate to them and empathize and go on these journeys and feel the things that the creators are trying to get you to feel and enjoy.
Yep.
Like, they're not us. They're not real. I mean, they're real in our imaginations, but like, they're not actual living, breathing beings. It's all, so like,
well,
I mean, does that make sense?
No, it makes total sense. You have to stop applying our expectations of life to these characters that have had different situations. Again, Luke. Okay, if we can go there for a second. One of the biggest complaints I see about The Last Jedi is this Luke Skywalker is not who Luke Skywalker should be. And then they always say this, and this is where I go, okay, you really weren't paying attention. Because they say, and Rian Johnson turning this guy into a hermit living on an island, and he's ran away from everything. Like, Rian Johnson didn't do that. That was J.J. Abrams that did that. If you watch The Force Awakens, that happens at the very last scene of The Force Awakens. J.J. Abrams is the one who put Luke on an island all by himself. He was hiding. That was in Force Awakens, folks. That was not on The Last Jedi.
And it's actually on George Lucas.
Yep.
Because that story point was from something he did. Maybe not the island, but him being isolated and alone came from Lucas.
Yep. And until we knew,
to an extent.
And until we knew, honestly, until you got Obi-Wan, and then some of that last scene of Revenge of the Sith, the original trilogy, all we know is that Obi-Wan's a hermit living in the desert hiding.
Yeah.
So why all of a sudden is that a problem?
Yeah.
So and I'll tell you why it's a problem. Is because people want a Luke Skywalker to come out with a lightsaber and kill everybody and be this big bad Jedi. That was why. So their expectation wasn't met, and so they decided they didn't like it because it wasn't what they wanted it to be. That does not make it a bad movie. That means you don't like how it went. There's two different things there. And
that's exactly how I feel about Multiverse of Madness. I don't necessarily think it's a bad movie. I did not enjoy it at all. I
did not like a lot of the decisions they made. I finally watched it, by the way.
We're not going to get into all that, but yeah, like some people absolutely loved it. I had expectations. I expected it to be a Marvel movie. it was not a Marvel movie. It was a Sam Raimi Marvel
which is
movie,
a very different thing.
which is its own thing. And I don't dislike like I'm not anti Sam Raimi. It just didn't work for me. I had
Yep.
expectations, they didn't get met. I had expectations for Phantom Menace. Some of them got met, some awesome stuff, but storyline wise, I thought there was a lot of cool things they could have done that I was thinking about that didn't happen.
I'll always say Anakin should have been older, and I cannot stand any of the criticism Jake Lloyd gets because he's a child. That was a casting direction. That wasn't his fault. They should have cast him slightly older for that role. He should have been
100%.
like 13, 14 to actually be too old to train.
Yeah. And yeah, regardless, like I just, and Megan, I don't know if you saw, I waved. Hi, thanks for joining. Megan.
Hi,
you know
Megan.
Megan. Megan's Tyler's wife.
Yes, I am aware.
Okay. Are you though?
I am.
Okay. So,
Awkward.
Megan, we talked a lot about Tyler earlier. Make sure you let him know.
Yep.
Put up his Instagram and all that jazz. Tyler, I'm here. That wasn't rude. You're supposed to interact. Hi, Tyler. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but we talked about you a lot. Did your Instagram stuff. All good stuff.
Yep.
I loved Obi-Wan. I can't wait for the Taika Waititi stuff. I can't wait for just
Andor. I'm excited about Andor.
Andor looks great.
I'm
Because that was a character I did not like. I didn't dislike Rogue One the first time I saw it, but it has gotten better every time I've watched it since. Still,
it's an incredible movie.
Yeah, I think he's such a complicated character that we didn't get to see enough of the depth and the struggle. Like, I was going to say this earlier when talking about Ewan McGregor's acting. Subtle acting, I feel like that gets overlooked a lot as like not acting.
Mm-hmm.
It's like subtle acting is a lot harder to do to convey the emotions. And I think people like Ewan McGregor do it great. Jeremy Renner, I think, does it amazingly. I mean, that's like his whole shtick is to like underact. And I think Diego Luna is the same way. And right, Diego Luna?
Yeah.
In Andor, like I just seeing where he goes now. And then I read the book. The book really helped because then I could see some of the thought process, the way they wrote it out in the book. I'm like, oh, okay, that is in the movie in a way, just the way they reference stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Was Acolyte still coming? Huh?
Acolyte's still coming. Looks like we're getting Hera is going to be in Andor as well.
I heard she was going to be in Ahsoka.
Most likely, she'll be in both. It makes total sense for her to be in Rogue One or in this Andor series too, because she was already a general in the rebellion or all that. Because I mean, I know we know Chopper's in Ahsoka, and Sabine's in Ahsoka, but this whole Star Wars universe, it just has me so stoked. Acolyte, that's actually the one I'm probably the most excited for because it's the one thing that we're going to see so far that isn't connected to Skywalkers. It's completely out. This will be the first, right? This will be the first time that we are not having something tied directly to the OT.
Yeah. It's Sith focused too, right?
Yeah. So, but I say that I do think it will be tied to the OT. I think it's going to end with Palpatine.
Okay.
As a youth, as a young man.
You heard it here first, folks. Prediction made.
It's set like 50 years before Phantom Menace.
Oh, okay.
So time-wise, and this is about this because it's supposed to be like this High Republic era that we have going through right now in the books. It's supposed to be leading to the Sith beginning to rise back up.
Okay.
And the Acolyte is all about that. About the Sith and to come back.
Since you brought up High Republic, I've only made it through the first full like adult novel, and I think partly through the second or the first middle, because there's like the adult, the like middle, and then the younger one. I love the way they're portraying at least through that first book, the way they were portraying the Jedi, because that's what I thought the prequel trilogy was going to be. Because someone said recently, I heard it might have been on that other podcast, that they like didn't like the Jedi in the prequels, and I'm like, no, the Jedi. I apologize for making this connection to people. If this is insensitive, the Jedi were essentially the church of that era. Like they were so fixated on their dogma and things, they lost connection. And I think Clone Wars did a great job of explaining that through Ahsoka, especially that last season where she's with and a lot of people didn't like the
Ahsoka deconstructed
the sisters like on the lower levels, but I thought that was really cool and really important to show how she got to where she was to be in Rebels and all that stuff. But yeah, like it just, and I think that's the thing. And some of the people complain that, you know, that how could the Jedi have not seen this? And it's like, because they were so focused on their own stuff that they didn't see the shadow coming in, because they weren't looking for the shadow. Where would the shadow be coming from?
No, they thought they were it. They were the only power in town.
Yeah.
And so there couldn't be any other power.
And I mean, Jedi as a concept, not necessarily individual characters, but because I think when Dave Filoni broke down the bit on Duel of the Fates was really about who was going to raise Anakin. And it wasn't Obi-Wan or Palpatine. It was Qui-Gon or Palpatine. Like, and he broke that down, who was going to be the father figure, because Obi-Wan was never going to be the father figure. And that's why it was destined to fail. In that way.
He was the brother figure.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting. I'm like, man, where was he? Why couldn't he have been there to help? I've said this to other friends before, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But like, I feel like not necessarily Dave Filoni, but someone could have been there to, like Dave Filoni, to be the filter between Lucas and the production. Again, I love all the stuff he gave us, all the ideas, like this whole world. Like, we wouldn't be talking about the last hour and a half without him. Where it's like, I have a lot of ideas, but I have to run stuff through people sometimes to be like, is this dumb? Does this make sense? You know?
No disrespect to the maker at all, but the maker needed to have other people around him that were saying, what about this or that? And I think it's great. I think it's great that Filoni and Favreau are in there. These are guys who literally have said in interviews, we have reconstructed these things using our toys. Like, we've created ideas using toys. And it's like, they are us.
Yeah. And I think, you know, they made some misstep. I love Book of Boba Fett. Again, there's some things that didn't work, some things that really did. Of the TV shows, I think it's the first one that had the biggest blunders critically. And you know, they were part of that, you know. You know, so hopefully, again, it's a thing where they all right, here's where we made mistakes, here's where,
and I guarantee you they're the type that will learn from that.
Oh yeah. And I mean, because I hate when I first saw the Clone Wars movie in 2008, I hated Ahsoka. Hated might be a strong word. I did not enjoy the character. I watched that movie in the theater with Mark
Sky Guy,
Illinois. I didn't like. I was like, this is clearly made for younger viewers. I'm out. And the spin. I'm not.
I had no issue with the spin, Tyler. You just stop it right now. You have an issue with that when it happens in like a Western or anything like that?
No. What was I saying? The spin totally distracted. See, it's effective. You just have to mention the spin, and I've lost my focus. I hope it's not reactionary. This is where I didn't want to go before. I think DC heard fan outcry and like catered. I don't think that's the right way to go. I think, now this is still our property. This is our stuff. We're going to address it the way it should be done. You are not. All right, so we got a youngster in here. Okay, so here's the thing. That's what I was saying. Ahsoka, I did not like her in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I think leading up to Force Awakens, I was really hungry for more Star Wars. Like I knew it was coming, and it was still on Netflix at the time.
Yeah.
So Tyler, you have nothing to apologize for. You're totally allowed to have your opinion and put it on this. It's totally fine. He's my guest. His opinion doesn't matter.
I'm in charge.
Not liking Ahsoka was intentional.
Yep.
You weren't supposed to like her at first.
Yep.
And it was, and I think it was even, because I had it on in the background through season 2, and somewhere in season 3, there's an episode where they're advancing on a droid barricade in like the cliffs or something, and it's just all blasters. Like the screen is just red and green, and I was just like, what is going on? And it felt like it just like they flipped a switch and it hooked me. So by then I was like, next episode, and I'm paying attention now.
Mm-hmm.
The arc she goes through was really cool, and that's why I feel like in Obi-Wan, I knew it was only going to be 6 episodes, right?
Right.
So you can't have him be the same from Revenge of the Sith, because I suffer from PTSD. Obviously, it's not the same PTSD that his character is going through. I did not have to like mutilate one of my best friends, brother, and leave them to die.
You tried.
Look, you're the one that cut my hair at a funny angle on purpose and was like, whoops. What is going on here?
Oh, nothing. I may have to switch to my phone here in a second.
Oh, okay. We can wrap it up if you need to go.
Oh no, I'm watching my time there, and I realized I'm on 3% on my iPad, and I forgot my charger.
All right. Well, if you cut out, I'll send you the link again. I don't know where I was going with all that. I totally lost track of.
Hold on.
Oh, that was. Sorry, folks, we're having some technical difficulty.
Hey. So real quick, since I did that.
Good night, Dan. Thanks for watching. Oh, we're getting a toy reveal of the room here.
Here's the vintage.
Good grief.
There's stuff here.
So was it come down 79 and what?
Yeah. And this is the ship I was talking about, Queen Amidala's.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, all right. I mean, I knew what it looked like. I just didn't remember what the toy specifically looked like.
Yeah. Yep. Anyhow, but yeah, no, I guess.
Oh, Jacob.
Yes, it is, Jacob. But yeah, man, I don't know. It's one of those things where Ahsoka was meant to be an annoying character because of the whole, first of all, the target audience, B, just the way that she was meant to grow with the audience, and she does. And like, now you've gone from hating her to absolutely your favorite character in Star Wars.
Not just Star Wars. She might be my favorite character of all time.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever had that discussion. That's cool.
I mean, she and Rogue and
because I was gonna say I thought it would be Rogue.
Taryn from the Black Cauldron, the Chronicles of Prydain series. It's hard to support that character because like there's no merch for him. Like there's a horrible 80s movie, beautiful animation, horrible adaptation. But yeah, Black Cauldron, absolutely love that series of books. And just again, he's a character like Ahsoka. Like I can't believe I didn't pick up on that. He starts off as a young kid. He wants to go on adventures and be a hero. And as soon as he gets to go off on an adventure and be a hero, it's not what he thought it was going to be. His expectations were not met. He's sleeping on the ground. He can't believe this guy that is a prince looks as dirty and messy as he is. Like, I thought princes were supposed to be, you know, not glamorous, but like, ooh, wow, that's exactly what Ahsoka is. But she had such an attitude to her, and I realized watching, like, she's an overemphasized version of Anakin.
Mm-hmm.
She's just, but we get to see her grow where he goes darker, and you know, he leans into it in a heavier way through that series, whereas she's the more, she takes the time and reflect. She takes the time to learn and grow instead of just seeking the power. Like,
I know I might pick off some people with what I'm about to say, but where Anakin and Ahsoka are like a split, a divergence in the Force, where one goes this way, one goes that way. It's almost like Rey and Ben are that coming back together.
yeah.
And so, and I love the characters of Rey and Kylo Ren. So anybody who doesn't like it, I don't care. But whatever.
I do too. I think they made some weird choices, especially in the last movie, but overall I still like it.
I still think I think the last movie only suffered from being too short. I think they should have taken more time to tell the story they wanted to tell, whether that should have been two parts or whatever. They didn't take enough time to tell the story they wanted to tell.
That, and I think, I mean, clearly, I mean, I know it's been talked about a million times that like Lucas didn't have it planned out that Luke and Leia were brother and sister, and then Vader was his father from the beginning. Like, that came right through development. It was not in the original draft or whatever. So in the same way the original trilogy wasn't fully thought, I think he had a beginning, middle, and end that he wanted to get to. I don't think they did that with the sequel trilogy. And I think that's where it suffered, because it just felt, because the original trilogy had 3 different directors. Now, granted, Lucas was producer on all of it.
Yeah.
But, you know, you get Disney, you get, you know, people want to complain about the corporation of it and all that stuff. Sure, yeah, there's a part of it, but, you know, they also gave us Rebels and, you know, all the Disney Plus shows. Like, they can do it right. It just, decisions were made that we didn't get to see.
Yep.
And I feel like the new trilogy was, the first movie was too long, or stuff that happened in the second movie should have started in the first movie, and stuff like the whole thing with Palpatine's voice should never have been done in Fortnite. I'm sorry, you don't put something, like, if you want to have an Easter egg in Fortnite that shows up in the movie, cool. Don't make it a massive plot point for the story that you come in and you're like, what? Granted, we all saw the trailer, we heard Palpatine's voice, we knew he was going to be in it in some way. Like, have his voice projecting to the whole galaxy be the reason why the message from the rebels the resistance didn't get out to the people that were calling for help. Have that be the finale of Last Jedi. So you end Last Jedi knowing, yeah, okay, Rey's going to be a Jedi now, but the Emperor's back. So now we have 2 years to wait. Like, oh crap, how did that happen? We, of course, know, okay, dark science, cloning, things only the Sith knew. We have 2 years to think about that, and you can explain it a little better than a throwaway line of dialogue from a character we just met. Granted, I love that actor. Didn't give him anything to do except say like a couple throwaway lines that didn't actually help explain anything.
Yeah. I mean, that, okay. And so that's really, I get it. That first part there, Palpatine's back. We don't know why. We don't know how. I get why people don't like that. Again, that's a choice they made. But beyond that, the rest of the story, like, I mean, when Ben is on, I don't think people realize that Kylo is on Mustafar. and that the planet is no longer a lava planet. It's actually hardened, and it actually has vegetation growing on it at this point in time. There's a lot of symbolism in that when he's trying to find that Sith Wayfinder.
Holocron.
Yeah. Why? Why you gotta be like that?
Why did they have to be like that?
It's fine.
They could have just called it a holocron, and it's specifically a wayfinder. I'm just saying that the rung on the ladder was there. They reached to a ladder over here that nobody needed.
I don't know why I've put up with this for 25 years. Anyhow, the
Tyler agrees with me.
Yeah, well, anyhow.
I don't know if he's watching anymore, but
No, he's probably mad at me. But anyhow, no, I like I said, I think that trilogy, I know it gets a lot of crap. I know it's divisive amongst the fan base. I think a lot of that is manufactured, but I love the character of Rey. And I said this in a Facebook status. I have a little girl who is 5 years old who 100% has a hero in Rey Skywalker. And when she says, I mean, I tuck her into bed and I said, "Who's on your blanket?" And she said, "Rey." I said, "Rey who?" She said, "Skywalker." And that 5-year-old girl getting that hero in that is exactly like me at 3 years old watching A New Hope for the first time and being enamored by the whole thing. And that's why Star Wars exists. It's for kids. It's for their imaginations. It's not for adults that sit there and get angry about and nitpick and to go after each other online and call each other names over. That's why Star Wars exists.
yes.
So.
And I'll nitpick with you because I know we can do it. Tyler and I get into it. A couple other friends,
yeah.
we get it. That's a different thing. Yeah, I know you're not saying that.
Discussions. I have a problem when the discussions turn into people getting extremely angry with one another and
Bump set spike.
I'm unfollowing your page and I'm telling everybody else to as well, Tyler. But no, yeah, it's just I think we lose sight of why this, media exists. Whether that be, I mean, I don't know, whatever fandom you're into. Half of these things, like Harry Potter, Harry Potter's for kids. There was a kid series, and I've seen people going after stuff like that, and it's like, it's meant for kids. Relax, chill. So I don't know. I'm on my soapbox, but that's my feelings on things.
No, I'm with you. I agree. Like a lot of I've not watched it, but the She-Ra show on Netflix. I just don't like that type of animation. I don't watch any show done in that style of animation. I just don't enjoy it. I've not watched it. My friend Sean, who was on this last week, I don't know if you ever got to meet him, but one of my oldest friends, his kid absolutely loved it, I believe, and it made him look at it in a different way, like you were just saying about your girl and Rey and the blanket and everything. Not that you didn't see it that way, but
yeah,
I mean, all this stuff is meant for kids, and it's not ruining my childhood. That new She-Ra does nothing to the original She-Ra. And look, I'm sorry, Sean and Matt, Legends of Grayskull podcast, if you were watching. Nothing against He-Man. I like He-Man. That original show
was crap.
Well, I mean, it wasn't crap. I don't think it was crap, but it's
campy.
Not great. And I know they like stuff like the mini comics and all the other stuff that I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
Somehow.
But listen.
But those shows were like every episode was throwaway. Like nothing built up, nothing meant anything. But it was a kid show.
Yeah.
That's why watching it now, I get the nostalgia feels for it. But it's like Transformers. They They're clearly in the American Southwest, right? They drive to Africa because the Decepticons are stealing rubies from a mine. How do you drive to Africa from America?
So I have tried, with all this, we're all into retro stuff again. And I tried to rewatch G.I. Joe, Transformers, and He-Man. As a child, I consumed them like it was dinner. I loved those shows. I have tried watching them since. My Lord, they're awful. They're just, the writing is so hilariously bad. The stories are, there are so many scenes in them that are like exact duplicate scenes from other episodes.
Oh,
where they
yeah.
just dialogue. And here's the thing, none of that is a criticism. Those 3 shows existed for one thing and one thing only, and that was to sell toys. And guess what? It worked. I have them all. I still have tons of O-ring G.I. Joes from my childhood. I got a couple of those He-Man retros when they put them out because they're freaking awesome to see again.
Yeah.
I love it when Transformers does old retro redos. One of my favorite toys of all time is my, oh my gosh, I just totally,
Soundwave?
No. The ambulance. He's always an ambulance.
Oh my gosh.
Transformer. Ratchet. The white Ratchet van, and they also did it on another character. And that's the thing. It was the exact same toy. It was red, had a different name. The red one was a minivan. The white one was an
Ironhide.
Yeah, they're the exact same toy, just different color.
Yeah, one had the lights on top. I think.
Yep, that's the difference. But I still own that. I loved those toys. Those shows are horrible. Now, the shows they've done, this recent Netflix Transformers thing, was incredible.
Yeah.
I loved it. The recent He-Man show, loved it. Not
one?
Not the like weird thing that's happening.
I love both of them. I
tried the new one. I just haven't been able to get it.
It's really cool. It's very different. It takes a lot of liberties, but I think at the core, it has the whole thing. It makes it less just about He-Man. Spoiler alert, he shares the power of Grayskull with his friends, so that's how they become the masters of the universe, kind of like Shazam. So it's a lot more about the team and not just about him. He's the core protagonist, but they do a lot of really cool stuff in that show. It's definitely worth watching. The Revelation was great. I can't wait for the sequel coming, Revolution or whatever it is.
We're getting more.
Yeah. They've teased both Mark Hamill and I forget the voice actor's name who did Orko, have both posted about doing recording for their characters, and then they put out a teaser poster.
Is there more of that Transformers series coming?
As far as I know, there was just the 3 seasons so far. I don't know. I know Hasbro's now moving into like their legacy line, and those shows are clearly based off the action figure designs because like they've got all the kibble and extra weird parts that the original show wouldn't have had.
Right.
But as far as I have not heard anything, but I've not been looking for news about it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Well, listen, I'm going to jump off here.
Don't jump.
Well, I'm really old, and 10:45 at night.
Really old?
Yeah.
You're like 6 months older than me.
Yeah, dude, but like, you also you didn't have 6 kids.
Neither did you.
Well, okay, not.
Sorry, I had to.
It's fair. It's a fair point.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah, no, I don't. Yes, I live in a giant room full of toys, so yes. I live in mine.
Yes, that's true. I only work in mine.
You've been here. You've seen this place.
Oh, it's
worse than when you were here.
It's amazing. Someday you and I are going to have a toy museum. That's
Stop calling my apartment a toy museum. There'll be very strict hours of so I can get my sleep.
So, all right, man. Well, listen, thanks for having me on. It was good talking to you.
You too. Thanks for joining me. Thank you, all of you who watched.
Except for Tyler.
And, double thanks to Tyler.
I
Because
see.
he's heard all of this from me before.
And I raise you a double no. Just let it go.
You missed one of my Brendan bingos. Because we didn't really talk about food. And I know you're leaving, so I don't want to
go ahead.
Drag this out. What food originated in West Virginia that you are very passionate about?
Oh, pepperoni roll. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. However, I try not to eat them very much anymore.
It's a shame.
Too much bread. Yeah, but actually it's weird. They're selling them in Publix in Florida now.
As pepperoni rolls or like?
Calling the pepperoni rolls. The belief is that so many West Virginians have migrated to Florida that they're now like making it their way down there.
Jacob, thanks for watching.
Yeah, Jacob.
For listening or watching, listening, whatever you did. I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around this whole time.
Yeah, man.
Or at least early on and a couple times in between. But it feels like you were here the whole time, so thank you.
Listening to two nerds, lifelong nerd fan, just sitting here. Kudos to you, Jacob.
Well, I'm sorry, we didn't get to talk about this enough, but I am going to throw this up here real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Brendan's band, last year's model, Neon Lights collection is out on anything you can, purchase. I got mine on iTunes. Stream it wherever you stream your music. It's really cool. This is the band I wish I could have been good enough to be in when I was into music enough to want to try to play. So, you guys got anything cool coming up you can share?
We're doing some shows. Got a song I'm working on that I hope to put out at some point in time here. New track. But yeah, I gotta tell you, man, that's one of the most humbling things you can say. That you would want to be in this band. I'm serious. That's like it's cool. Thanks.
You are very welcome.
Yeah.
All right. Jacob says he's going to check it out. So there you go. Last year's model on all your streaming things.
You can find us on social media anywhere.
Yeah. I didn't make a hashtag post thing for you for that one. Sorry.
Okay.
It's right there on the screen. Last year's model.
All right.
Brendan, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I will see you next time.
Okay.
Or whenever we do our chat again.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, man. Hey, I'll talk to you later. Love you, Rob.
All right. Love you. See ya. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. I'm about to sign off here. This was a lot of fun. I really appreciate everybody who watched. We're going for 2 hours. We're going for almost 2 hours. Thanks for stopping by. I was going to highlight, we've got 1/6 Shooter Show. Legion's Lounge is coming up, I believe, this Monday night. And I think it's this week, right? And then Legion's Lair for you folks in the Cabal, live in the Cabal, Mythic Legion's Cabal. I believe we're going to get another reveal for the All-Stars 5 wave, All-Stars 5 Plus wave. I'm really excited about that wave. I know I'm completely changing the topic here, but yeah, love Mythic Legions. Brendan's not into it, so I couldn't get too hard into that. But hopefully showing those off. Maybe next show I go to, I'll get one and send it to him. So yeah, All-Stars 5. If you go to sourcehorseman.com, yes, Jacob, July is going to be an epic month. That is absolutely true. And it's just going to continue through the rest of the year. Taking this Monday off. All right. Oh, because 4th of July, of course. See, the important day is Tuesday. because I don't usually, I'm not begging for attention here, but Tuesday is my birthday. So I'm a day late for the national holiday. So I'll be looking forward to when you come back for Legion's Lounge. Sorry. Too many Legion's names. But yeah, All Stars 5 Plus, they're doing a really cool rollout, I think, with letting a lot of the fan sites, video channels like Legion's Lounge, Legion's Lair, different shows, different people in the community are going to be revealing the wave throughout the course of the month in time for the pre-order taking place at the end of the month. So if you're into Mythic Legions, make sure you go to sourcehorseman.com, and they've got a whole article there listing out all the different places you can go. Thank you very much. I'll be back at work, but you know, I like my job, so that's good, right? All right, I'm gonna sign off, so I'm not just rambling to myself here, which I could easily do for another 2 hours, but I'm not going to. Yes, Jacob, there will be a reveal. I'll be between finishing work and coming home probably, so I'll be very excited to see what it is. Yes, I gotta stop thumping stuff with the microphone and everything. Everybody, thank you so much for being here with me tonight. And Brennan, it was really cool hanging out with another one of my oldest friends. We'll be back, I believe, next week. I've got another special guest, so stay tuned. I will make the announcement on Friday again of who it's going to be, and looking forward to that one as well. Should be a lot of fun. I will not be having any reveals, and none of the stuff I ever talk about Mythic Legions is ever inside or preemptive information. I'm probably late to the party on a lot of stuff, so my news is day-old bread news. So, but I like it, and I want to talk about it. So, all right, I'm rambling, and I just keep saying I'm rambling. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, just shelve it. You got two screens going here. What button do I push?